Hey, everybody, we're here for a new episode of the RLG cast where we talk about pop culture things, mostly movies and TV. I'm here with JD. I'm here with Putty. Their stuff will be in the description. And let's just start this off by saying
What?
I asked them a question earlier.
Yes, you did.
I was hoping you were going to think I froze there. So I asked them a question earlier, and I guess we'll just do this right at the top. So, what's a show, an old show that you want brought back, either as a show or a movie?
Ding.
All right,
Alf.
so Putty says, "Oh, Elf."
Okay.
So, okay. Let's say I listen. The whole alien thing is much better now. We have better special effects. Let's have fun with it again. Let's go back to when you had an alien creature that you're trying to hide from the public, but has this great sense of humor. You have a very adult like you can make it a family show, but have like adult jokes that only the adults will get. But again, everything they eating the cats, everything. I just want Alf back. Still think it might be just as good as the movie, but there you go.
Okay, well I want to talk about this for a second. So
Okay.
Elf, if you're gonna bring Elf back, I kind of want the stupid puppet.
Yeah, you need the puppet.
That
You
is
can't have
true.
CGI.
You're right. I agree. But
I
it's
mean,
got to
you
be
could
better
do
puppet. It's
CGI
got to be
other
like
things.
But you
Well,
need
you
the
have, like,
you need the
forge
you need the little
of-
person in the puppet.
Wait, what was it? An actor in
No.
a puppet suit?
No. What it was a puppet. But then when he ran around, it was actor. Because you remember
Yeah.
there's scenes where he would run around. He was actually there was a little person that was running around. The when he's in place, it was all puppetry.
Just the
Yeah.
good old days when we just had child labor. Just whose kid's in the
Exactly.
suit today? I don't know, but he's dead.
So
So okay, so JD, what was yours?
So let me start off by saying a lot of my favorite shows from the 70s, from the 80s, did get remakes already. We're talking MacGyver got a remake.
Mhm.
We're talking Magnum PI got a remake. Quantum Leap got a remake.
Remake, yeah.
Some of them had varying degrees of success. Say what you will about them. What's it called? Even got a movie, Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island got a movie?
Yeah. Came out about a year and a half ago, 2 years.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, with Michael Pena.
Yeah, I remember hearing about
Oh, yeah, but I don't think that's like
It was the same concept, except it was based as a
horror
horror
movie, right?
instead of a, yeah. So a lot of these shows from when I was younger have been ruined for me because of that. And Knight Rider is another one of my favorite shows that is due for a remake, but I'm going to go with something a little bit more obscure. I'm talking Airwolf. I want to see an Airwolf
Guy
movie.
says Airwolf.
I'm with you on that one.
Oh,
I want to see an Airwolf movie in the vein of like the A-Team, like espionage, like especially now with like this whole like Russia and China thing going on. I think a movie like Airwolf and like because it was based in the Cold War, I think Airwolf might work as a movie.
I agree.
okay,
Well, you have all the moves. Yeah.
that's actually a pretty good choice because it's obscure, especially by modern standards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be good. Well, there's so many options I want to say. I really would like a Darkwing Duck remake because I never specified if it had to be animated or not.
Yeah, I have an honorable mention. I want to make up two.
Okay, I'll let you talk about it. But I'm gonna say I want a Get Smart series in a similar vein to like Chuck, where like he's pulled in and he gets the training, he has like highest marks, but then he's just an idiot, and it's like even though he's such a good like spy, he can't get anything right because he constantly just screwing things up.
Even
And
though
I think,
they did a movie a few years ago with The Rock and Kevin Hart,
listen, that movie, Rock and Kevin Hart, what was that called?
Get Smart.
Get Smart.
No,
Yeah.
Get Smart was
No,
with
you're
Kevin
thinking-
Hart.
Oh, it was not with
Bro.
Kevin Hart. That was pre-Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
You're thinking of what is it called? I know what you're thinking.
Alan
CIA.
Archer was in it.
you're thinking of CIA.
Yeah,
Central
no, but there was
Intelligence.
a Get Smart with Dwayne Johnson.
That was. Yeah, no, Dwayne Johnson was.
Yeah,
in it. Remember they were.
he was in it. He was Agent 99.
Yeah.
And that's what Steve
It was
Carell was
Steve
Get
Carell.
Smart. But
Yeah.
that's almost. I don't know if anyone wants to look it up. I can't right now, but I believe that's like 15 years ago.
Was it really that long
That's
ago?
like Anne Hathaway before she was even famous yet. Like she was still like in the early part of her career.
2008. You're looking at
15 years.
15
Oh my
years.
gosh.
Anne Hathaway, she was Agent 99.
Oh, she was Agent 99. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alan Arkin, James Caan was the president.
It's actually
the Great Khali.
Yeah, he plays like literally Jaws. But it's actually a pretty underrated movie. I think it's not as bad as it was.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway's really good in it, but yeah, I think they would work as a show because we don't get a lot of those types of shows anymore. They either really lean into comedy now, or they really lean into like the drama of things. And I think Get Smart you can balance it out like a Chuck. Like I said, we don't have a lot of shows like that have like an actual story happening, even though there's like comedy.
And have it like an overarching story, or just like be a villain of the week with one kind of like an Inspector Gadget type of show.
I think you supernatural it and you have villain of the week every week, but it's all leading to something and they don't really know it until they start getting there. And then you realize, at the end, they're going to have to do this. Those are the best seasons of Supernatural. When Supernatural had a constant overarching story that goes from start to finish, those are the worst seasons. It was always like when they slowly build up to this event where it was always the best.
I think, was it the 4th season of Angel did that? It was really, really good.
Angel's actually another really underrated show.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what's a good honorable mention? Buffy. If they could redo Buffy, and I think it would work really well. Okay, Putty, what was your honorable mention that you wanted to say?
I don't know if you guys know this. It actually came on after Alf, and I was going to put it on here, but I put it aside just in case. I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but when I explain it, I think you guys think, oh, this is a good idea. The show is called The Greatest American Hero.
No
now,
idea.
Have you guys ever heard this?
Okay. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm walking on it.
Okay, so The Greatest American Hero is a show about a guy that finds a suit from an alien spaceship that apparently gives him powers, but there's no instruction manual, so he has no idea how to use it. And each episode is him finding out he has a new ability that comes from the suit. And I think this would be a great comedy, either movie or series, probably better as the movie.
My Secret Identity.
Yeah, right. Like I think it would be a great movie that you could do where, but of course change the name so you can make it broader for everyone else. Greatest idiotic hero or something like that. You know what I mean? Something a little more open. But still, I think the idea would work nowadays, especially with the whole idea of becoming a superhero. Now you have the opportunity, but you don't know how to do things properly. You know what I mean? So I think it'd be a good idea for a comedy movie. So I was.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, remake Mask.
Like the cartoon show,
Mask,
yes.
the cartoon show Mask, yes.
Well, that'd be a comic book movie, so I'd rather have the comic book version, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy.
No, but I mean, they did G.I. Joe. Why can't they do Mask?
Well, yeah. Oh,
but I want it. I don't want it live action. I want there's a lot of things that should just stay in that form, right? It's there's a few really good animated shows that should get remade. Just keep it animated.
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck.
And you can make some better toys.
Silverhawks. Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
They tried it. They tried it with Thundercats a few times, and it failed. They've tried it with Masters of the Universe, and we don't know how that turned out.
Okay, well, before I connect this, because this kind of
now they replaced Sarah Michelle Gellar, didn't they?
Yeah. No, she's still in it, isn't she?
No, they what's her name? Benoist there, Supergirl. She's replacing her as Tila.
Okay, that's not a bad choice. I like her.
Okay.
But
that just went.
Anyways, so it's semi-connecting here. So like Scooby-Doo, would you want more live-action Scooby-Doo movies?
If they're done well, I wouldn't mind it.
Because Freddie Prinze Jr. just recently came out and said he would never do it again. It was the worst experience of his life making those two movies.
But that's his experience on set.
Yeah.
The movie itself, I think it was the first one, wasn't a bad film.
I hate both of them. I think they both suck.
Really?
Well, here's my thing. The
second one was really bad. Wasn't that James Gunn too?
They were both James Gunn.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. The whole live action aspect, you have to make it goofy, especially when it comes to Scooby-Doo. So that's why I actually liked it. I like those movies because I feel like they understood it, but at the same time, I don't think you should do it again. I feel like that spark was already there, and I don't think the only reason why those movies actually do that good was the chemistry. Of course, you already have Sarah Michelle Gellar. I mean, the casting was basically it. This was a phenomenal.
Matthew Lillard now is forever Shaggy.
Exactly. So
he literally is. So
yeah. he will forever be Shaggy. Yeah.
So my point is that was one of those times I feel like that was the only way you could strike gold. Kind of like the Flintstones, where it's perfect casting with you know what I mean. Like I feel like you could do it
That's
again
funny
later.
because the
But
Flintstones is like perfect casting. They just made a really stupid movie.
but that's my point. The casting's always good, but that's what I think.
Well,
I
okay,
don't think
let's
they should
take it
go
in the
no
other
more.
direction. Josie and the Pussycats. I love that movie.
You
I've
love
never
that
seen
movie?
it.
I love
I've
that
never seen
movie.
it.
I
I
think
heard
you
it was
just love
horrible.
the cast.
The movie was good though. I for some reason that's a movie I can always watch and never get sick of it.
Really?
Really,
It's
I
it's one
never.
of
hate
those.
that.
It's one of those. It's like a junk food movie. It's not good for you. It's not good, but it's something that just you watch it.
It's funny you say that too, JD, because I've avoided that movie so many times because I was like, okay, that's not going to probably be something up my alley. I remember that as a kid, and I remember, you know, my friend's house, his sister might be watching or something like that. But it's not something that I was looking out for. So when I saw it as an adult, I'm not going to like this. Then I heard the reviews, and I'm like, okay, definitely not going to like this. So to hear you say that, it actually kind of
I don't
shocks
know.
me.
It's
Like,
just. I mean, obviously Rachel Lee Cook obviously has a little bit to do with that, but
Yeah, I'll probably a lot to do with that. Okay. Leo gets. So here's the second part of the question. What's a movie that you love or that you just want? I guess you don't even have to love it. Made into a really drawn out, detailed, fleshed out TV show. And you
I
can
got
go
this
first.
one, and they're already doing it. It's Blade Runner.
okay,
But do you want it fleshed out for the universe, or do you
The
want
universe.
Do you want
I
that
want the
story
universe
to continue? Okay.
I just want the whole universe to expand. I want an expanded universe of this. Go into the past, find out how the replicants started, like everything. Like I want like flashback scenes. I want everything.
That's fair because I would say that's a good choice. I don't want more of that Harrison Ford character. I don't want more Deckard Cain story.
No Decker. Yeah. But I mean, I want to see like go back to the original, to the origin, how this started, how the replicants started. You know, cast somebody as a young Rutger Hauer kind of thing. Like,
yeah, because they modeled them off somebody, right?
yeah.
So maybe he was like one of the workers there. Okay. Putty.
okay. So I was kind of mixed on this, but then after you told me that, I was looking at some of the movies I loved, and I realized I don't want to do anything comic book, nothing. So my final decision was actually Hackers. I want Hackers to be turned into a TV series, and I thought about this. You could play off the charm of nowadays, but you have stuff like Anonymous that would get involved, and I feel like that would be an amazing story to put out there as a TV series. And I mean, I don't think you have to have the same characters. You make it work. You know, it's like one of those things where they take the ideas, keep the name, but they change the actors and let them play their own part. Don't have the same characters. Just have a brand new cast, but that same idea of being hackers and trying to hide within the world, and you know what I mean, like it was in the
Have
movie,
it connect to like the Anonymous group and stuff like that.
Exactly. And I
That's
feel
actually
like,
good. I like that.
Yeah. Buddy,
Yeah,
you're
so-
laying out some gold tonight, man.
Yeah, you know what? I came into this just expecting UHF and
Comic book movies.
and other. But yeah, no, that's good. That's two bangers. So for me, I want Tron. I
Makes
want
sense.
I think it's funny because it falls into both of your worlds because it's kind of like a distant
Hacker-ish,
future
yeah.
world, but it's also
Dystopian.
computer hackers. It's like it has both of those, and I think there's so much in that world to unpack that you just get breezed past in the movie, especially in the second movie where they really start showing you how the world is, and it's like, you know what? It's funny. It reminds me of like in Ant-Man when they go to the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the quantum realm, there's like all this life and so much stuff is happening. Like there's bars and restaurants and all this stuff. And it's like, you can't even see that
On a subatomic level.
on a
Yeah.
subatomic level. So inside this computer, there's all these people who live in this city, but they're like programs and like stuff. And I think there's a lot you could play around with.
What if we're the program in the subatomic level?
Hey, I'll do that.
I mean, could you also, not saying the actual premise of the movie, but take a little bit of inspiration from Free Guy, as far as not the comedy or that stuff, but as far as like the element of, you know, the money being involved too, because you could really broaden that story when you have to go into more of a digital age that has, you know, currency going involved around it. You know what I mean? That means even these characters can be like, I'm more powerful than you because my owner actually is one of the richest people out there. You know what I mean? It's like then it could be.
But they play off that a bit in Tron, where it's like the creator is the one that gives power to their thing, right? Because it's like, oh, he's the best. He was the best computer programmer, so his character is the strongest in the thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You could play off
Tron was like Tron is a virus program.
Yep,
he's the protector of the.
It's a rogue, yeah.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I kind of want to talk about Diablo.
Sure.
I know you've been playing it.
Yes, I have.
Posted today. Putty hasn't played it yet. I haven't played it yet, but I mean, I've played all the Diablos since the first one, and it's like probably my favorite game. So I'm really excited to play it. I just spent a ridiculous amount of money to buy a computer.
Yes, you did.
I could have bought a car, and I regret that decision. But now I'm just happy that I'm going to get to play Diablo.
Yeah,
which somehow I have to find money to pay for that. How did you like it?
I enjoyed the fact that it's taking elements of the good things that they did with Resurrected and Diablo 3, and they kind of fleshed it together, and it's creating this new story out of that. It has some elements like, for example, like in Diablo 2, the original Diablo 2, if you build your character wrong, you get to a certain point of the game, you're screwed. You have to go back to the beginning and restart. You can respec in Diablo 4.
Yes, and in the remake, in Diablo 2 remake, you could respec twice. Yeah. It would let you do it twice. And it was like the craziest thing, because I did get to a point. Well, I didn't even know I could do that, first of all. It took me a while before I figured it out. I got to a point with my sorceress where I just couldn't get past the level because my I think it was Act 5, because it's like winter, so they were all immune to ice, and none of my ice attacks were doing any damage. You use
the frozen orb, yeah.
So
frozen orb is
like,
the most OP sorcerer attack,
and the lightning moves don't do a lot of damage. So I had to respec and switch one side of my thing to fire, because you need to keep frozen orb, because frozen orb destroys everything.
Yeah.
Well, that just got real nerdy real fast.
But yeah, and that's the build I was kind of going for. I was going more for a now I just found out that my progress does not carry over, so all 3 characters I created are lost and I got to redo it. But I did a sorcerer, a druid, and a necromancer build. That necromancer is OP as hell.
Yeah, it's broken. IGN posted about it, so it's probably going to get fixed now.
It'll get patched before. I think that's what this beta was about. Shameless plug, in my video, you do see some staggering and some glitches, and that is the beta build. And the final product, I don't think, is going to reflect what my gameplay looked like. I think it's going to be a little bit more polished. That opening cinematic, like when they first bring Lilith back, that opening cinematic is just mind-blowing.
What game was Lilith from?
She wasn't in it. I think this is her first appearance.
This is the first game, right?
Right,
yeah,
because it was originally it was the three primevals, right? It was Diablo, Baal, and I can't think of the third one now.
I don't remember who the villain was in the third game.
It wasn't not Azar
because I know it's
Azazel, I think it was, or something like that.
It might have been Azazel.
Diablo was the Act 4 boss, but he wasn't the final boss. The final
Diablo
boss
was the final boss in the first game.
Yes.
And in the second game, he's Act 4, and then it's Baal.
Yeah.
And then I legit don't remember the third game at all. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know what's happening.
Because Diablo was the final boss pre-DLC, but there was a DLC where they brought in the Necromancer.
See, I'm just gonna jump in and say that's what confused me about the later games, was because of I didn't know Diablo wasn't the final boss in the other games. You know what I mean? I thought this was. I mean, this is new to me when it comes to that and everything. I mean, I like Diablo.
Malthael was the final boss.
Anyways, yeah, go Putty. Continue.
The Reaper of Souls. Sorry, Putty.
No, you're fine. But the thing is I haven't really paid too much gameplay. It's still the top-down view, right? We're still dealing with the same view of
the isometric
Diablo 1. Yeah. I just, when it comes to that, they did that with a lot of games, and depending on the type of game, it's hard for me to get enthralled into those type of games. I think that's the problem because Ultimate Alliance I loved because of that type of view, but that was also playing with characters that I was really already enthralled with. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. This is where you're building your own character, and if I remember right, I could name my own character, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can name your own character.
But and I think now, back then, I think there wasn't even much customization either. But now I'm guessing it's bigger because, like I said, I've only seen glimpses, so it looks good. I guess I just have to get into it again because another thing is when I played the second one, I wasn't playing with friends either. So I think that might have a big effect, but I don't know if you can play with friends. I don't
you can play, yeah. You can solo it, or it's just a lot more fun when you have your party together.
Right. Okay. So I think that's the reason why I kind of just died from it then, was because not
see. Whereas I'm used, like I can play either way because I was used to playing those original first two Fallout games, like Fallout 1 and 2. It's very similar. Baldur's Gate, the first two Baldur's Gate were like that as well. So I've always played those isometric games. So going back to that isometric view, it just lends itself so well to mouse and keyboard as well.
That's even like going even farther back to Gauntlet and things like that. That's still kind of had the same thing, the view and everything, you know. So it's always been a link when it comes to those type of games. Which when it comes to dungeon crawlers, that's probably the best view you want to have anyway. You know what I mean? So
it works. It works the best.
It does. It really does. A lot of people I know there were two betas. There was the closed beta last week, and there was the open beta this past weekend where I just played. The closed beta, a lot of people were saying that the servers were overflooded and it was very difficult for them to get on in game, and they were getting kicked out of their servers a lot and then waiting like 40-45 minutes to get back in.
I mean, that's going to come with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the first day those servers are going to crash, but they got to be ready for that too. I think that's the other reason why they had the beta, is to see what kind of power they need for their servers to handle what they need to do.
I think that's also why they're doing if you get the special edition versions, you get the game, I think 3 days early.
Yeah.
Also to just see how much weight they can carry on their servers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play. It's a fun game. I could play by myself all day. I actually prefer playing by myself. I'm definitely going to be playing with everybody who has it once it comes out. But
now, the only thing I'm not sure of is if it's cross-platform.
It is.
It will be cross-platform. Because the last few were not.
It is. I know. And the funny part was they specifically said that it was cross-platform, and then it wasn't cross-platform.
I remember Diablo 3 was supposed to be cross-platform.
Yeah, and so was the 2 remake, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But so we'll see about that, because this one, they're saying it's going to be cross-platform, and it's going to be really easy to play with people.
Okay. I mean, it's being done now. Like, I mean, like a game like Fortnite does it so easily and seamlessly right now.
And Fortnite does it literally with cell phones. Like, you can play someone on a cell phone. Yep. So that's pretty like insane to me. Okay, we're moving on from this. I have a question for Putty, just because I feel like asking Putty a question and putting him on the spot. Nintendo is a company that makes things. Now they make movies.
Yes, they do.
What's the one character? One, you can only pick one, and do not tell me anything about a universe. What movie do you want?
Oh, and okay, I'm gonna go the bizarre way. I'm putting it out the bizarre way. I want to see Splatoon. I want to see.
What would the movie be about?
I want to see, maybe there's a whole thing about a war, about keeping one society from another one. And it could even be a friendly competition or something, that, because it seems like it's a sport. So I could see them playing it off as a very popular sport in the squid community. You know what I mean? And you already have those two profile girls that could be really flashy. I'm sure there's plenty of actors out there that can play those voices and pull them off. Maybe, again, it's going to be animated, so it's going to be out there crazy. Yeah, I would not be surprised. But yeah, I mean, I just want to throw it out there in a crazy way, and I feel like that one would be the most obscure one that you would think of. But I think it'd be fun and enjoyable, and I think the whole idea of seeing how squids live their life and everything would have a very open-ended storyline that you could work with.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that. So now I
was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's good. That was good. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a question for JD.
Sure.
It will not be the same question. I want to know if you can have a biopic or a show, it doesn't really matter. It could go either way. About any wrestler, who would it be?
Who's cutting? Is it us or Campo?
I think it's Campo.
It's me. It's
Campo's
definitely
cutting.
me. Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. When you don't cut, we can hear you. I heard biopic wrestler.
So any wrestler to have a biopic.
That's a tough one. I would love to see the story of Randy Savage.
I think that would be an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one too. That's an excellent
Randy
choice.
Savage would be good, and the other one would just be the rise and fall of the Horsemen, maybe.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Putty, same question.
And
if you say Goldberg,
no. Actually, no. I think a good
Jade
movie.
Cargill.
No, I think they should. A good movie would actually be just the Attitude Era, alone the Attitude Era,
like about behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah, like talking about that and the drama and everything. I feel like a lot of that would lead into the lot of stuff that's happening now too. Like I feel like we could eventually actually get something.
What
like
about
this
for a movie? It's just called Monday Night Wars, and you can have people show up to play certain wrestlers, but you have like the majority of the cast is like based around like a certain group. So like Eric Bischoff and like Hogan, and then like Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You have like those main people.
That it would. You gotta think, remember they made that TV show about the late night wars and everything? Wasn't it like a TV show like that or something, or a movie? I can't remember what it was, but it could be just like that.
Oh yes, it was. It was Jay Leno and
David Letterman.
Yes. You could do the same kind of feel for this when it comes to the whole WCW, WWE, and they own WCW, so it's not like they can't say, "Oh, we can't pull from that." Yeah, you can. You own it now. You know what I mean?
You know what the problem with that is, though? WWE will be in full control of how to make the movie, and everything they make sucks. And whenever they're making movies, they suck. Which is crazy to me too, because in that era, I'm fully knee deep in Monday Night Wars at this point. I don't even know what number week I'm on, like 150.
I don't know if anybody's seen the Jason Reitman short film on YouTube, Wrestling. I think it's Jason Reitman. Wrestling Isn't Wrestling.
I haven't.
No, I have
okay,
no idea.
I'll link it for you guys in the Discord. This is a must watch for like, especially like Attitude Era Monday Night War fans. He recaps the story of like DX and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and all that, but it's told through his eyes and how like he recounts how it just told a fantastic story. So I think it was Reitman. I wasn't sure, but I know I'll link it for you guys right now.
I want the Great Muta movie.
That is coming out though. There is a Muta biopic. One? I think so.
Shut up. No, there's an Oki movie I think is coming out.
Yeah. There's the Great Muta documentary. There is a document.
I don't want to. I want like a movie.
A biopic.
A movie.
A movie.
Okay, so Disney apparently has went to Lucasfilm and told them you're no longer allowed to make anything except Star Wars. I don't know what else Lucasfilm has. Indiana Jones.
Right.
American Graffiti.
Willow.
THX.
Willow.
Yeah, they did have Willow. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. THX 1138. I don't know. That might be actually a good series if you did it right.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
you did it right. Now I think about it, THX 1138 could be a good freaking series.
But do you think them putting all the focus on making Star Wars is going to make better Star Wars product, or are people just going to get tired of all of the Star Wars product?
See,
I think they're going to get tired of it.
You got to remember Boba Fett. What they use so much of Mandalorian and Boba Fett to make Boba Fett so big, and they changed Boba so much that I'm afraid. Because here's my thing. Even though what was it called? The other show. I forgot the other show. What is it called now? The one. The one. With,
I forgot what it's called.
Which one?
The other one.
The other one that just recently came out. Not Mandalorian. But,
there's Mandalorian. There's Boba Fett. And what was the other one? Andor.
That's what it goes. See, exactly. That's how memorable Andor is.
Andor was good. Okay,
Andor was good.
Okay, it's good. It's good. But my point is I don't know. I just like I don't know where they're going to be leading, and I feel like they're hinting at stories based on this new season. And I'm like, what story are you hinting at? Or I don't know. They're just leading us in this weird direction.
What, Mandalorian?
Yeah, everything in general.
Mandalorian, it's leading to Thrawn and the return of Ezra Bridger.
Oh, well, no, I know that part, but like you guys think, I don't want to spoil, but not the last episode, but the second, was it the second episode or third episode? I think it's third episode. Third episode led us down a different storyline. And I was wondering, why are they giving us the storyline? And I'm like, well, don't tell me you're leading us into another series eventually.
No,
and that's
what this is, what this series is leading to in the finale, Bo-Katan is going to challenge Din Djarin for the Darksaber in hand-to-hand combat to lead the. That's why she's playing the role right now with that group.
Let's save this for a review, okay?
Okay. I'm just saying.
I just can't believe you missed Jar Jar.
I can't believe that. Like, it's so funny. The whole internet story was like, it's such a feel-good story. He's coming back. They've made up. I was like, I don't remember them ever fighting.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, he's not going to say no to Star Wars money.
No, but the character Kelleran, I think it's Kelleran Beck. He is a character from the expanded universe. He is a character that has appeared before.
Isn't he from the comics?
I didn't know that.
No, he was a instructor that taught the younglings at the Jedi Temple.
And is that from the books?
That was
that was from, I think, a web series or something. But it's canon.
Star Wars is the canon for Star Wars is too spread out. You know what's funny? Because you could say the same thing about Star Trek, but Star Trek is so properly laid out that even the stuff that happens, you don't need to read the books to know things. But the way modern Star Wars is like there's certain characters that, like, if you didn't read the books, you don't know what the hell's going on. You have to just wait for explanations.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and now it's even getting harder now because a lot more storyline is always, it has been, but it's going way more to the modern age, where a lot of that old stuff is, well, it's already been rewritten, but there's storylines that I've never heard of.
He was Kelleran Beck was the one that was training the supervisor of the Padawans before they take their trials, so he is from the expanded lore.
There you go,
and it's always been played by Ahmed Best.
Okay, so he was in that as well?
Yes.
Okay, well, he is Ahmed, not the best. So you've been watching it. I'm assuming you must have finished it by now. Can you please tell Putty how good Star Trek Strange New World is, or whatever it's called?
It is probably one of the best Star Trek shows I've ever watched.
Okay.
Like, you legit need to watch it, and there's only one season out right now.
This is
that the animated series?
No, but this is Captain Pike. It's his Enterprise. It's his rule. It is basically the series that leads into the original series. It's leading.
Go
ahead.
You don't need to know anything.
No, you don't need to know anything about the original series. It's just such a well-written. It's politically driven, but there's action. There's like everything you could want in a Star Trek show. Everything that epitomizes Star Trek is in this show.
It's also the most appealing possible show to Star Wars fans who don't watch Star Trek, because it's just a really well-made show. Like, it will turn people into a Star Trek fan, legit.
But not just good writing. There's good effects. It's like not too many lens flares, like
there's a hot doctor.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I've told you guys before, when it came to the first series, when it came to the first series, I just could not get into it. It was too obscure for me. It was weird. It was when I was at a young age, when it just wasn't appealing to me. That wasn't going that way. Again, Star Wars was more my appeal. Then Next Generation came out, and the Next Generation was the show that I was actually watching syndication. It was a big deal. Like, this is awesome.
This is the best one since the Next Generation.
That's my point.
This is better than Next Generation.
It is,
in my
wasn't
opinion.
It Voyager after Next Generation? And
it was Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it was Deep Space. Yeah, that one and Voyager, Enterprise, like all these. I
like Deep Space Nine, and a lot of people don't.
I liked Enterprise.
Voyager's really good too.
I tried them all, and that's why I'm kind of like it was actually, I think, Enterprise where I stopped. The only thing I went back to was those movies, because those movies were actually pretty good. The most recent movies they put out.
All of the Star Wars, all of the Star Trek movies are actually pretty good, minus the one Next Generation one that's so dog trash. The one before Nemesis.
Was it first Insurrection?
Insurrection, yeah, it's so bad. Nemesis isn't good either, but Nemesis is fun, and Tom Hardy's a really good villain.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about the movies after that where they remade. Yeah. But my point is yeah, I'll give it a try. I just haven't had the, it's just got to be a
Lower
reminder.
Decks is good. And you don't really need to know anything about Star Trek to watch that. And you like animated shows. It's basically Rick and Morty.
It's Rick and Morty with Star Trek. Yeah.
And Strange New World it's a good, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I kept getting it wrong. It introduces you like from the beginning. It's like a new way to pull people back in because it's so simple and basic. All you need to know is that this is Star Trek.
This is the start of the NCC Enterprise.
So you meet all the people from the original series. You meet Spock, you meet Kirk, but they're not like the main characters of this show. Right. They're just
and this is kind of like a spin-off of Discovery.
Kind of, yeah. So anyways,
because Pike was the captain of Discovery.
I feel like I'm being baited from being kicked from the comic book shop, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. My street creds in Star Wars as a fanboy.
Yeah,
I want to watch it, but I'm like, you guys are really trying to get me to watch it. So,
but it's listen. It's,
Strange
New
Worlds
we're telling you is because it's the kind of show you're gonna like. You're gonna be like, holy crap, how did I not watch this show?
Yeah,
right.
So for me, since we're already talking about it, I never watched anything past Voyager. At that point, Star Trek was too nerdy for me, and it wasn't cool.
Well, I mean, the only thing after Voyager was Enterprise,
and then whatever's out now. There's Enterprise, Discovery.
And then Discovery.
Isn't there one other show too?
I don't think so. I think it was Enterprise. Then it was Picard. A long gap.
That's Picard.
I never watched Picard either.
Oh, this season has been fantastic.
I know, but I've been watching the recaps, and I'm getting enough information out of it that I don't even need to watch the show. I don't want to. I don't want to invest into it right now. Maybe I'll go back, but a hot take. I don't like the original series.
I never was a fan of it either. Some of the movies were good. Search for Spock.
I like the movies. I don't.
Undiscovered
like
Country.
Show.
I enjoyed.
I think all of those original series movies are good.
Even the whale one.
Yeah, because they were in the world of Star Trek and more believable than some of the things that happened on the show. There was so much obscure, weird stuff that happened on the show that it just took me out of the element. And even as a kid, I couldn't get into it because, again, you're not throwing anything like really cartoony at me outside of a lizard here and there.
Actually, the animated version of the original series, whatever it's called, is actually good.
Was better.
Really?
But even the motion picture had that 2001 Space Odyssey feel to it. They
feel like Star Wars, the movies. They have like the same kind of graphics and like effects. Those work. And the first movie's super. It's funny because everyone who's like a Star Trek fan now is going back to the first movie and being like, I don't understand why people didn't really like this movie. It's actually really good. It's just boring, but it's like, it's a well-written movie. Mm-hmm. It's just slow paced, right? And you know what? Whales
is 3.5 hours long.
Whales is fine. What's that? In Search of Sasquatch, the whales one?
The Voyage Home.
Oh, the Voyage Home. Which one's In Search of Sasquatch?
The third one.
Third one.
After
Khan is the second one.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the scene from the movie Camp Nowhere when he's like, what do we tell our parents? Tell them we stayed in while it was raining and we watched Star Trek 4. Is that the one with the Russian guy? That's Rocky 4.
Two was Wrath of Khan, where Spock dies. Spoiler for a 45-year-old movie.
Yeah, they must battle to the death.
Ricardo Montalban.
Anyways, Putty, what were you gonna say?
No, I wasn't saying that. I just made a quick joke about because that was the first movie or appearance of her in anything. Jessica Alba was in Camp Nowhere, and I didn't find that out till years later.
Is that the first? I think she might have been in something else. Was she not in Flipper?
No, she wasn't Flipper, but she was real young in Camp Nowhere too.
Oh, apparently my Xbox like sits.
So I think it's her first movie though, because Flipper was a TV show though. So yeah, I think it's her first movie.
No, Flipper was a movie, wasn't it?
No, she was in the Flipper.
She was in Flipper, the TV series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which one was the movie with the sea lion?
Andre. I hate that movie. Listen, you're bringing up bad memories for me. See, we've gone down a rabbit hole because I have a small list. I like to think it's small of movies my brother and my sister used to love and watch over and over and over that I specifically broke or hid.
Dustin checks in. Dustin checks
Well,
in.
I like Dustin checks in, but multiple copies. So my parents had bought multiple copies of these movies because I would break them or hide them because I just hated watching it. Andre was one of them. The Borrowers. I freaking hated the Borrowers. I can't even think of other ones, but there's so many that just infuriate me.
I wasn't really into either one
You
of
said
those.
Dunstan checks in.
Yeah.
That I my cousin's house, they always were watching Dunstan checks in or Baby's Day Out. That's were like the two movies that were always on there.
Babe was the other one, I think.
Babe.
But see,
Babe,
I
Pig in the
love.
City.
For some reason, I feel like it's one of our old memes and everything. The whole Dunstan checks in, and then the other movie with the monkey that's actually stealing money. Can we remember what the movie
Monkey
was?
Trouble.
Monkey
Listen,
Trouble.
I'm not. I have like an unlimited storage in my brain for this.
Well, you know, Devil's Advocate is one of the greatest Robert De Niro movies of all time.
Best. Robert De Niro, Keanu Reeves, The Devil's Advocate.
Oh man, thanks.
Putties.
I appreciate that little mess up in my head when I was at the time. So,
but you want to know the best
Mobsters.
part? When you said it at first, nobody got it, and then when I got it, I made a joke about it, and they still didn't get it. And then like a minute later,
took a
JD
minute.
was like, "Wait, Devil's Advocate is
That was Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
but see, again, it's that mobster thing.
Oh,
I just had that mobster.
spoilers.
But
I
you
don't
did
know
it
if
with
this
the
is
video
coming up
game
before.
awards too. You thought Al Pacino was Joe Pesci.
That's what I told you.
But that
Mobsters,
was a really good one because no, he knew it was Al Pacino, but he just kept saying Joe Pesci.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Where the movie thing was different because he didn't actually know he knew that was Al Pacino, but just kept calling him Joe Pesci. Anyways, that would have been cool if it was Joe Pesci. That guy can't be asked to even be in a movie, let alone show up to an award show. So was he at the Oscars for The Irishman?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Anyways, I digress. So, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna ask an on the spot question. If you can have any show or movie made about a video game, like you know what I'm gonna say? Actually, since we already talked about it, I think Diablo would be really good because I think there's such a huge world. If you did it like a show, you could have the seasons based around the acts and be like, oh, you fight Andariel in season 1, and then season 2 is like they're in the desert and it's like this whole new story.
There's Belial and there's that could work.
That would work pretty good.
That would be pretty amazing.
And you have a team. You make it kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. There's like a sorcerer and a barbarian and a bow. What are they called? Amazon.
A rogue and an Amazon.
Yeah, you can't have more than that. 4 is enough.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, they're doing a Fallout. I don't know how that's going to turn out.
I heard that Dungeons and Dragons is really fun.
Is it really? I want to see it actually.
Yeah, but apparently it's just super, super cliche. Like everything that you possibly think could happen in one of these movies happens.
Oh, does he have to roll for a critical hit?
Most likely. Putty, did you figure one out?
Well, no, I did. This is going to be a very obscure one, but the reason I'm picking it is because I got stuck in the lore.
If you say UHF, I'm going to turn this off.
I got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a video game one. Go ahead. You can do yours.
No,
Yakuza.
go. Oh,
The Yakuza series.
Aren't they actually making a movie on that? I thought they were.
I thought it was. I think they're doing a Like a Dragon movie. Yes.
Sleeping Dogs would be a good one.
Sleeping Dogs. There was at one time Donnie Yen was in talks to make a Sleeping Dogs.
Well, there is a movie coming out called Sleeping Dogs, but it's not about the game.
Wei Shen.
Yeah. Putty, what's yours?
That game was so good and underrated.
The one I'm thinking of is very obscure, and that is, I think Destiny would make a good television series.
That's not obscure at all. It's a very popular game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think people wouldn't think of it as a good story, but I think it opens it up to a broader story that they don't have to actually follow in the game. That would actually be very enjoyable.
I think if you did it in more based around the lore of the universe and less about the character leveling up aspect, it would be pretty cool because the universe is really rich. It has a lot going on.
You can think about.
Go ahead.
I remember playing the levels and you be in areas and you're like, why are these buildings here? You could have a story that fills out some of these buildings and tells you the people's lives between the aliens and the creatures and everything. There's so much of how it looks in general and that base story that can be connected to all these other people. Again, I feel like it's a good story. Like I feel like Halo missed the mark on doing something like that when they made the Halo series on Paramount Plus.
Paramount,
Is
yeah.
they didn't realize that they're so focused on Master Chief that you got. That's the reason why Destiny feels good, because it doesn't have one specific character, because you make your own character, and that's why I feel like something like that would work as a series, while something like Halo doesn't, because you're focused on one character that keeps his helmet on, and the only time that's worked is Mandalorian.
Isn't Batista too in talks to do a Gears of War show or a movie?
No, he keeps saying that he wants to do it.
Okay.
But they've apparently never talked to him about it.
And then there's Henry Cavill wanting to do the Warhammer 40K.
But this is the thing. If that's obscure to me. Because yes, Warhammer is a popular game, but it's super, super niche. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons, or like everyone knows what D&D is. Like Warhammer is like super freaking niche.
Yeah.
Because it's a very expensive game too. It costs you thousands of dollars just to play the game.
Yeah, and you also have a lot of manpower too, because you got to paint your walls. Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, I would watch that. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I like The Witcher was fine, but I wanted The Witcher like the game, and I'm not even a big fan of the games. I like the second one. I wanted The Witcher to be like the games. What we got was like this weird comedy show. It was like, you remember Dungeons and Dragons, the first movie with Marlon Wayans? One? Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It was like, I'm expecting a serious show, and it's like all goofy. And then season 2 completely changed the tone of the show. They went in a whole new direction.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason. That's the reason why Cavill left as well, was because they were taking the show in a different direction. Like he was wanting to, because he
wanted to stick to the lore of the book.
Right, where it's very serious, it's very dark, it's very...
And they wanted to make it like they wanted to follow the story of the game, and he wanted it to follow the story of the books.
Yeah.
And he also he was getting upset because there's obviously like a moment of vanity there too, where the show stopped being so much about him, and he didn't like that. I mean, have you seen the new season with what's his face? Did that come out yet?
No, that hasn't come out yet. Liam Hemsworth.
Is that season 3?
That will be season 3. But there was a really bad prequel, like Blood Origin.
Heard.
Oh, that was so bad.
Now Putty's like, I don't know what the hell this is. I mean,
I know it is, but I just haven't watched him yet. And
it's not worth it.
I haven't watched Sonic Prime yet. Like I've heard like the reviews been like up and down. Like it's not too bad. It's enjoyable, especially if you're a Sonic fan. I just haven't had a chance to do it. So,
I didn't even know Sonic Prime came out.
Yeah, it did.
What's it on?
I haven't got to watch. It's on Netflix. It came out in like February.
Oh, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be like a multiversal thing too. Apparently, it connects like all different Sonics. Yeah,
no, but you can. I think when you're functioning on that, from that idea, that aspect, I think that works for me. Like, you know how the early Marvel series crossed over, and the early DC series crossed over, but it was very subtle how they did it. Yeah. Or like in the later years, Marvel did it again with their next wave of shows with Hulk, Agents of Smash, and like those shows all crossed over.
Avengers Assemble, Guardians of
Galaxy, and that worked for me. Spider-Man, what was the Spider-Man called? Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's an underrated show. We should do. We're gonna do something definitely with lists about cartoons. But I mean, it's. I really like that. Do that. That works for me. Like the DC universe is with the animated movies. Do that. By the way, Doom That Came to Gotham was really good.
Yeah, I saw your little blurb on that on Instagram.
I watched it a long time ago, and I had to hold off because it didn't get released until Friday, so I didn't want to drop a review like 2-3 weeks before the movie came out. And because weirdly, DC animated, their page always likes my thing when I post those movies, so they must be watching the hashtag. So it's you don't want them to be like, hey, well, where'd you get this movie from?
Yeah, right.
You guys sent it to me. Shout out internet.
Well, let's you mind here. Let me throw this out to you. Let's sticking with the DC. There's a lot of backlash for Snyder fans now yelling at James Gunn for not supporting Snyder on his carnival of whatever it's called.
Stupidity?
Yeah.
His carnival of stupidity. I really like that. It's SnyderCon.
Yeah. Where he's showing the 3 Justice League. Now there's backlash in the thing that they're saying James Gunn never liked any of Snyder's tweets, and like he's trying to distance himself from that. So like what is your opinion on that? Like, what do you think?
It bothers me because Zack Snyder was trying to distance himself from this whole thing, but as soon as he loses popularity, he brings himself back into the loop of DC, even though he just said he wanted to distance himself from the whole thing. And James Gunn rightfully is doing the same thing because his fan base is cancerous. And like, I'm not going to sit here and harp and yell. I'm just not. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy that we're reliving this constantly over and over. Listen to all this, okay? So whatever was called the Land of the Dead, what was the one that was on
Army of the Dead or something?
Army of the Dead. The sequel never got greenlit. Okay. Netflix didn't want to greenlight it. So it's right now it's not happening. But he keeps talking about how it exists. It's happening. It's in my head. Okay, great. Thanks, guy. So what? You're gonna start another hashtag to get people to force them to make a movie for you? Then he has this whole thing with the other movie that he has coming out that's part 1 and part 2. And it's going to get an extended R-rated cut for both movies. Okay, we don't need this every time you do something. Stop Snydering.
But he's like, no.
Okay, I'm going to stop this right now. I want to cut and jump and say this. That whole Snyder Cut thing, here's my thing. The original Justice League, don't like it. Don't like it, right? When the Snyder Cut of Justice League came out, I was like, okay, this is better than the other version of Justice League.
But it's still not that good.
It's still not good.
Those two, what I'm saying. But then I'm like, but that's basically like polishing a turd. You just polished the turd and then made it smaller. What the fuck was that cropping? What is with the cropping? What was the
4x3 aspect? Yeah.
And my thing, the whole point is, every time Snyder's like, I'm going to release something, they won't let me. Like, he's doing it just so he get all his Snyder bitches to fucking come and fucking hashtag.
I know, Putty's getting rage. You know what? This is funny because we don't actually. I just want, if anyone's made it this far, I just want you to know, like, we don't actually talk about this to each other at all. So the fact that all three of us have the same feelings and thoughts unprompted is just shows you.
Because the thing is, you guys have always known I want a DC universe. It's not me straying away from it. But you guys they were pushing so hard for it that when the whole Snyder Cut thing happened, I was even in the hype. And I'm like, but at the same time, this isn't as good. I'm only in the hype because the hype is there. This is not ever going to be ever a Avengers level movie. Age of Ultron is still better in my eyes. Age of mother freaking Ultron.
I like Age of Ultron, so
it wasn't a bad movie, yeah.
But that's my whole point, though. When you compare all Avengers movies, you always put Age of Ultron as the worst. And when you say Age of Ultron is better than there, you need to step back and look at yourself and go.
Oh, you're talking about just the Avengers movies.
Yeah, just Avengers movies.
Okay,
alone,
yeah, you're right. That is correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, to think the worst Avengers movie is better than the best Justice League movie.
Well, in fairness, the other three Avengers movies are all very good.
Well, yeah,
like, but they're on a completely different
level on their own. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. Yeah.
You know, and I agree with that. And I think he's still hurting the brand of DC. And it's like, I don't remember if we talked about this, but so someone posted a post today, and I'll get to my other thing in a second, saying, would you like to see Zack Snyder? Because apparently he's been talking about this, and you know what happens when he talks about things. Would you want him to bring Dragon Ball back to live action?
Nope.
That was my answer, literally on the post. Nope. And people were like, why? I would like to see it. Why? What do you want to see?
I don't want him.
Do you want to see really cool visuals, but then essentially get the same movie as Dragon Ball Evolution in quality? Because that's what you're going to get.
It might as well. It feels like it would just be Dragon Ball's another version of Dragon Ball's being the fucking.
And listen, I love Dawn of the Dead. I love The Watchmen. I enjoy 300. But when you go back, even now, knowing what you know now, and after you got older and you've seen so many movies, when you go back and watch Zack Snyder movies, they get worse. Like,
they don't hold up.
Watchmen really has no narrative, and it's based on such a good source material that it's no wonder Alan Moore hated it, because it's it doesn't even flow at all.
I agree. And so here's the thing. Based on the story, it does agree. I will say, visually, though, I think he did a great job when he came
does in all his movies. Yeah, Sucker Punch looks amazing, but the movie is dumb as fuck.
Exactly.
I don't like his filmmaking style. That painted background, muted color.
I agree.
Well, for some things work.
He has moments. This is another thing I said to somebody today. In every movie, there's a guaranteed moment where you're gonna get a great visual. It happens all the time in his movies, but when you break it up into this 3-hour movie, they're like every 10 minutes you get one of those, right? Like the rest of the movie looks so stupid. By the way, if you watch his Justice League in black and white, it's the most horrendous piece of art ever, because you can visually notice all of the copy and paste CGI like stuff that he's added in the background of things, because the black and white really just brings it out, because there's no color to cover anything up. But
I don't want to try it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. But yeah, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on like the Snyder fans crying about James Gunn not supporting.
I'm not even like, I know we just kind of yelled about it, but I'm not even mad about it anymore. Just stop. Like, I just don't care.
Here's my thing. I'm a huge Deadpool fan. Everyone knows this, but the thing I hate is when people are so passionate about something and they know it's not at that caliber, but they just can't understand. Like, for example, I'm one of those people probably for Star Wars, you know what I mean? Where a lot of Star Wars said really bad stuff, but I just want it to be good, you know what I mean? Because of what it was in the past. And that makes sense. That would be the same scenario. And this one based on past. But again, Snyder really never had a good Justice League in my eyes, or a good superhero movie comparatively to what Star Wars may have had, you know what I mean? So there's a reason to compare. There's nothing in my eyes to compare with this. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, same thing. Like, okay, even me, for example, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, right? Love Doctor Who. These last 2 seasons of Doctor Who were some of the worst storytelling-wise, visually, everything combined. Was that
with the girl?
With Jodie Whittaker. And it's not because she's a bad actress, because Jodie Whittaker is a good actress. This role was not suited to her. The writing was not suited to her.
And it's hard to follow up Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
I mean, he took that, a show that kind of was like, I know people
petering off.
I know people like the Matt Smith era. I don't. But towards the end of it, it was getting really bad. Really bad. And he came in and just corrected the course, and then they switched him out, and all of a sudden the show fell apart again.
The last episode, Peter Capaldi's last episode, is probably one of the best in all of Doctor Who.
Yeah. That episode, and then everything that David Tennant did.
Yeah, of course. Even Christopher Ecclestone's stuff was not bad. It was a little goofy.
I actually like it. Season 1 is really good.
Yeah, it was a little goofy and silly, but it was still fun.
What are we talking about here?
Well, I know Doctor Who. I just don't watch it myself.
Once again, I've had this conversation recently with people. If you're gonna watch Doctor Who, just watch the new series, season 1 till I think 5 when he leaves, and that's it. You don't even need to watch anymore. That's your Doctor Who. That's and it's like enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, I really just want you to watch Star Trek, because you're gonna watch it and be like, "Holy crap!" Because he didn't even want to watch it either, and he watched it and he's like, "Okay, you were right." And I was like, "Yeah, I told you." It got me back on Star Trek. I hated Star Trek for the longest time, and it doesn't help when Discovery's not doing well. Picard was a train wreck.
See, this is where the difference lies. I think Discovery was written for, I hate using this term, but for the woke generation. Whereas Strange New Worlds is just a sci-fi show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has all the best politicking parts of Next Generation and all the best random adventure fun of the original series. Where it's just like, oh, look at this wacky alien race. And all their
but see that's going for the humor. And you know me, I always want to take Star Trek seriously.
It is taken seriously, but it has like, think of it more like Indiana Jones, where it's just like super adventurous. They're exploring, they're looking.
But the comedy works.
It's legitimately what Star Trek is about. They're exploring new worlds, and they're just seeing
Anson Mount, fantastic Pike.
The whole cast is great. The guy who plays the Doctor, I can't remember his name. The lead Doctor.
Okay,
has the daughter.
Yeah,
really good.
But even the guy who plays Spock is really good.
Yeah, the guy who plays Spock. Actually, the whole show, everyone's good. What's her name? The
first officer there?
Yeah, Rebecca Romaine, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Romaine.
She's
yeah,
really good too. Anyways, I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else?
No, I just wanted to touch on that Zack Snyder stuff.
I got a question, since we're bringing that up, because the thing is, something popped in my head when you brought up Doctor Who, and it's funny. I was just going to make a joke about Inspector Spacetime from Community, but then I do have a question. Do you guys actually have any interest in the new community movie? Because it's going to round out the whole,
Yes, of course I do.
6 seasons in the movie. Do you think everyone's going to come back? Like
Yes, I
feel
do.
like okay, so then I'm not alone. Then okay, cool.
I think maybe over the years the relationships were strained in the series between the actors and the writers and like what was happening, especially
I know there was
Dan Harmon
a
left.
rift between Harmon and Chevy Chase, right?
Yeah, but everyone had that, right? But
Yeah.
and when Dan Harmon left for that period, everyone was really upset, and then he came back and everyone was happy again. But it's like that's why you got to hide all those cast members leaving, because they didn't want to work if Dan Harmon wasn't the guy. But I think genuinely those people like Allison Brie and Donald Glover and Joel McHale, I think they're actually friends in real life. Like they actually still like talk to each other, you know?
Okay.
So I think they would be down with doing this.
Well, that's the reason why I'm hoping it actually.
But you have to bring back Punky Brewster as well.
Right.
And Mike Ehrmantraut.
But as long as the original core cast is there and it's a good script, again, I most recently found out there's a lot of, because there's the whole Beetlejuice reference. If you guys remember, where they said Beetlejuice 3 times within the whole series, and that third time they say it, someone's literally dressed up as Beetlejuice behind them. You know what I mean? Like it's an inside joke that people find.
And that's the best part of that show.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think we're going to get that? I hope.
No, I don't think that'll get paid off.
You don't think they're going to have other payoffs?
I think that's just an inside gag.
No, I get that, but like for example, like the what is it, the crack bandit? What was his name? The one that actually was like, are we going to get maybe like a solvent to that in the background? Like
I think
that's what I'm wondering if they're going to put that much.
They're going to give you something you didn't know that you're not expecting, and it is going to be a payoff to one thing, but it's going to be something you completely didn't expect it to be.
It's like something I'm not going to figure out till later. Like, oh my god, I can't believe, because I fall asleep to that show on nights sometimes. I have that show pretty much memorized.
It's a great
now.
show, and I think season 6 did its best to correct the course of the way that season 4 and 5 fell apart.
Yeah,
because like season 4 is to me is the worst. I think when they got to season 5 and they changed up the cast, it got a little bit better, and then when season 6 came and Dan Harmon came back, the show got good again.
Well, I think it's because they were focused. Wasn't the Chang saga when it really started going downhill, when Chang was taking over the school?
Season 4.
That's when
in season 4 that's when Donald Glover leaves.
Yep.
Then in season 5, Chevy Chase and Yolanda, whatever, I can't remember what her name is in the show.
Is it Nicolette Brown?
Nicole Brown, something like that, because she was on I think Nicole Yvette Brown or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. I said
Nicole Yvette Brown. Yeah.
Well, she also leaves.
But that's what I'm saying.
Leaves in season 6. Sorry.
You can give us the core one, and then maybe just leave Chevy Chase out and bring Chang back. And of course, you got to have the Dean back.
No, you could bring Chang. You know who you bring back? Bring back Keith David, who was in season 6 instead of because in season 5 they replaced him with the other old guy, the guy from Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, Mike Ehrmantraut. There.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said his name already, and I already forgot
I'm going to throw out there, when the movie gets made, there's going to be probably another screen return of Starburns. I feel like he's going to make an
maybe that's what it's about. Starburns comes back from the dead. This is my son. How old are you? Okay, that's it. We're ending this. We're good. This is over. Okay, thank you for watching. Let us know if you like Community, and tell Putty that he's a silly goose.